Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, EmeraldPlanet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the EmeraldPlanet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello and welcome to the EmeraldPlanet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States, looking around the globe in 143 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices that can be used, the technologies, the services, and the products that are making a difference for the environment in the 21st century. One of the largest players now, as we all know, in the economy and, of course, in the environment is the country of China. And we have actually been very pleased and honored to have such a great working relationship with Dr. Ping He, who is the president of the International Fund on China's Environment. And Dr. He, welcome back.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And I need to say that Dr. He has been with us before, and this is a continuing series on China. And Jason Wang had mentioned to us in our last program we need to start talking about energy conservation and efficiency in China. And so this is going to be the fast and furious about all the things that are going on. But tell us about the IFCE. What does it mean, and how long have you been around?
Well, IFCE means the International Fund for China's Environment. We're a non-profit organization established in 1996 in Washington, D.C., and our main mission is to promote U.S. and China environmental and energy exchanges. And we're functioning in three areas, mainly one is policy advising to both China government and the U.S. Also, second area is technology exchanges. We're promoting green technologies to China, also from China to U.S.
I think that's really very important we need to emphasize there really is a two-way flow and exchange between China and the United States. Many people think it's only one way, but it really isn't.
Right, that's two-way.
It's going both ways. Right. And it really is to the credit of your organization that we have such close exchanges going on.
Well, it's only part of them, but right now the non-profit group in China is taking place. One way it started, we identified that one of our missions is to help NGO to grow up in China, to develop in China. Right now we see those NGO are getting very, very active in both energy and environmental issues.
Well, you really are, and I've said this before, you really are a pioneer because when you started in 1996, there weren't that many NGOs in the whole country of China. And to have one in the environment was actually even more unique. Mm-hmm, and then you're really almost like the daddy for so many of these NGOs over there. So we've all been really honored to be able to work with you over these years. And thank you for the hard work you've been doing. But looking at the role of the nonprofits in this whole notion of energy efficiency and energy conservation, what are the nonprofits doing in working with the Chinese government?
Energy efficiency, NGO begin on energy efficiency only about 5 or 6 years ago.
So fairly recent.
Fairly recently.
Uh-huh.
One of significant movement is to NGO group, starting by a few NGOs promoting the air conditioning, room temperatures a certain degree, and not allowed too cold, to with too much energy. So set 26 degree in summer for room temperatures. Then asking for those building managers to pledge. Then once they pledge, and then they organize volunteer to check. To make sure they fulfill the commitment.
And really the volunteers, though, is not like they're checking on people. It's really to help them to understand the importance of the energy conservation and to answer questions and to help them with some of the equipment that they actually have in their condominiums, their apartments, or their own homes.
Right. After a couple of years and more NGO participated, more and more volunteers to go, and then the government finally issued a policy. Say, well,
really?
The whole country, especially public buildings, need to set temperature below the 26 degrees Celsius in summer.
Oh, so actually the NGOs were first
First,
and introducing this idea,
right.
And then the government actually established the policy afterwards.
Right. That's one of the examples of NGO promoting the energy saving and the energy efficiency, progress in China.
That's fantastic. What a great idea. So looking at China itself, what is it doing as far as energy efficiency across the broad spectrum of the society, not just in the homes, but also in the factories and industries and commercial real estate?
China began the energy efficiency in early 80s. It's quite a while ago.
Oh, okay.
And
so it's almost maturing now then.
Yeah. The energy efficiency picture can divide into three phases. The first phase from 80 to 2000. That time, the government, the modernization process just took place. And the government set a long-term goal, middle long-term goal for GDP productions is quadruple by 2000, but the required energy consumption only be doubled. So you have to improve the energy efficiency in order to reduce the energy cost, because
so that's something that I actually don't think most people in the United States or the West actually understand, that China really had this underlying policy for energy efficiency from the very beginning of the real expansion of industrialization in the country. So they're going to double the output, but they only want to triple the output.
Quadruple.
Yeah, but only double the energy consumption.
That slide, you see the decouple of
it. If we can bring that up, we will. That's not coming up right now. But so the government has been very much involved in this since the 1980s.
Right.
So then, when did the NGOs really start working with the government to get involved and to expand this through all the citizens across China?
That's talk about the first phase of 2000. When China got into WTO and China export, pick up, and also the people migrating to urban area, and the government begin to build those highway, building those buildings, and then the energy consumption picks up very quickly, and that's the phase of 2000 to 2005. So
and that was really when they were ramping up very diligently for the Olympics as well. That was going to be coming in 2008.
Right. So that time the energy efficiency become less priority, less important. So people were just kind of crazy to exporting products to U.S., to Europe, it's making quick cash, and also the urban expansion is very fast. So energy consumption become very, very, dramatically increased, and almost, to the CO2 almost emission to equal to U.S. So then come to the third phase from 2005 to 2010. The government realized it cannot continue like this, so they pick up the energy efficiency as as one of the high priority and strategy of the economic development. So they set a kind of target. During that phase, in 5 years, the mandatory energy efficiency increased by 20%.
Increased by 20%.
So, yeah, in 5 years.
In the 5 years.
Right.
So the government then set these broad goals, and so really what you're doing is the nonprofits, just like what you're doing with your nonprofit, then is really a companion to the government to realize the savings for the whole society, and also it reduces the amount of expenditures that you're having to send out over abroad to import fossil fuels and other kind of energy sources. Right.
Then for NGO sectors like us, we brought energy efficiency delegation from US to China in 2005, and then another solar energy and wind energy delegation to China in 2006. Continuously, we introduced advanced technologies in energy efficiency and renewable energies to China, and then another areas we're working on public educations. Our office in Wuhan organized, bicycle day, bike parade, that kind of stuff to mobilize the public to support the government policies.
Well, you have 3 offices in China, and also I know that you have very close working relationships with a number of the universities in China. And it seems like the universities are just really getting on board as far as a lot of research and development, original research, for new energy saving technologies and also energy savings products.
Right. We have a partner with University in China, as the University of China, and Wuhan University, a number of other universities, and it provides capacity building training for for the energy saving, energy efficiencies, renewable energies, those areas.
Well, I think China is really blessed to have you, because what you're doing is you're identifying a number of universities and organizations, businesses in the United States and in Europe that are now working very closely with their counterparts in China.
Right.
And that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, I travel to China, 4 or 5 times a year.
I tell you, that'll wear you out doing a lot of traveling myself. Looking at the transportation sector, well, I know that there's a real movement towards all-electric vehicles, automobiles, bicycles, motorcycles, even large-scale buses, which I was very surprised about.
Right.
What do you see happening in that venue, and do you think that pace is going to accelerate in the future?
Transportation, China pay a lot of attention to public transportations. Like, China have the longest high-speed railway, and also have in Beijing, Shanghai become number 1, number 2 of metro subway. Is one day in Beijing, they have the subway transport 7.5 million people one day as a record pace of worldwide.
I think that's incredible, because I was there for the Olympics. There were, I believe, 12 subway lines at that time.
Right now 14.
I was going to say, and they were building 3 more while I was there, and it looked like every subway line was brand new except for a couple of the legacy ones.
You know how cheap the subway the fee it is?
How much is it?
About 30 cents for anywhere, anytime you go. 30 cents.
I tell you, it was just absolutely fantastic, because I arrived at the international airport. I just walked out of the airport, got into the Super Express downtown, and then got out and then took the subway right to my hotel. And there's actually a few places in Beijing, even as big as it is, where you're not able to get somewhere by subway.
Yeah, that's subway is one of strategies, to build a public transportation system. Another way, when you talk about China is promoting the hybrid and electronic vehicles, and China is one of the leading countries to produce, those electronic vehicles, and the government is planning to invest $19 billion in next 3 years.
19 billion US dollars.
Right.
That's real money.
Yeah, real money into the hybrid and electronic vehicles. It's willing to put 1 million in those kind of vehicles on street by 2015.
Yeah, and that's really good too, because I know that you're actually very rapidly changing out all those legacy power plants, those old coal-burning, inefficient coal plants. Now you're putting in much higher, more efficient coal plants, natural gas, and others. So really blessed. So thank you for being with us, and we look around the globe. Great.